Good day, fish tankers. I've got this idea for a new series, for want of a better description. How about we look at different hobbyists' fish tanks or aquariums? So I was thinking, my email is up here on the screen and I'm going to leave it in the description. If you've got an aquarium that really does something for you that you're really proud of, or you've just started out for hobby and want to know what others think and what tips they can maybe give, or just share your aquariums with us. It doesn't have to be a major aquascape or a reef tank. It can just be a simple aquarium, but something that you love doing and what you've created. If you have something like that, send me a video clip to my email address and we can feature your aquarium on the show. Now, when I had the idea, I reached out to our roving cameraman, actually a professor of geography there up in Joburg, and I asked him, send me a clip of your aquariums, because he's not as long as I am in the hobby. That's basically a lifetime. He's been going for several months now, and he's got multiple tank syndrome, and he's got a small little fish room of about 5 aquariums plus a quarantine tank, and he kindly sent us a video. So let's take a look at Gijsbert's budding fish room.
Okay, here I've got a 4-foot 200-liter tank, a community tank with 2 large sponge filters and a Jaheris WRBG2 Slim, if I'm not mistaken. It's a community tank. Lots of fish in here, of a variety of fish, some angel fish, some dwarf gouramis, Colombian tetras, Kerry tetras, black neons, ember tetras, rummy nose tetras, cardinal tetras, all kinds of, a lot of tetras in fact. This tank's about 6 months on the go, so it's still growing in, but I'm quite happy with where it's getting. It's no CO2 at all my tanks grow naturally with plants that grow easily, some wood and rock, and I will see how this pans out. I've been quite happy with how it's going so far. Then I've got a 3-foot 100-liter tank with a Z-light and also 2 sponge filters. There's a whole bunch of community fish in here, lots of cherry shrimp, some cherry barbs, some black mollies, excellent algae eaters, Siamese algae eaters, glow light tetras, even some coolie loaches in there that you'll easily see them come out, but they do appear from time to time. Some Rasboras. This is my first tank. I've only been keeping fish for about 8 months now, and this is my first tank. So it's grown in quite nicely with lots of vallis, some Java moss, some bacopa, and it's grown in quite nicely, and I'm pretty happy with how it's panning out, given that there's no CO2. Then here I've got a 2-foot 60-liter tank that I keep in 2 crebensis. There's the male crebensis, and and then there's a female crebensis. She's colored up quite nicely. Been trying to breed them. That's not been successful so far, but we're getting there. 2 sponge filters in here, quite one big one, one small one, just in case the cycle crashes. I'll have a backup. Some Danios leatherfish. It really has been excellent to have them in. It made the crebensis much more comfortable. Then here I've got a juvenile tank, some Danios that I bred myself, the leopard and the zebra, and then 2 electric rams, all still very small juveniles, still growing in. Again, sponge filters. I keep 300 watt heaters in all my tanks, and then on the bigger tanks I keep 2 each, just in case one fails or not. There's a small bristlenose peckerel that I got recently. This has only been going on for a couple of weeks, but we're getting there. And then lastly, we've got a 30-liter cube with a Siamese fighting fish or a betta with some ember tetras and some cherry shrimp. This betta I got is a tiny fish, and so he's grown in very nicely. And then the plants have been growing very well. The more plants, the better I find for water quality and the healthier the fish. And then lastly, I've got a quarantine tank that I keep all my fish in when I get new ones for about a month before I spread them.
Okay, so that was Gijsbert's fish room with his aquariums. What can we learn from that, or what is the takeaway? Well, firstly, what we can see in the first two aquariums. On the first one, the big 55 gallon, he's got a Chihiros light on. That's quite a high-end light. And on the second aquarium, he's got a Z light on. That's sort of a more middle of a range, maybe slightly above middle of a range light. Two big brands that we have available here in South Africa, and you can see the difference in the way the fish displays, especially with that Chihiros light in the first tank. Look at the color on those dwarf gouramis and how defined the plants are, and with the Z light, still pretty decent. So a lot of you guys have asked me what light do I recommend, or have asked me Chihiros or Z light. I don't have either. I've got cheaper lights than that. But there you can clearly see what the difference is between Chihiros tank number 1 and Z light tank number 2. And then the other takeaway, it shows you that you don't have to have, except for the Chihiros light, especially high-tech stuff that breaks the bank. He's got Easter Aquaswell in the 55 gallon. He's told me that's sort of a cheaper, well, Aquaswell is never cheap, but a less expensive Aquaswell that we have here in South Africa, and I think in Asia you have it too. So he's got that in his first aquarium. And the rest you can see is a combination of substrates, and also his filtration. There's no canister filters or fancy stuff. It's all very simple air-driven sponge filters. And those people would say that you can't grow plants when you have air-driven filters. It's simply not true. Obviously, in these aquascapes, you want a clean look, so you won't have them. But you can grow plants still perfectly well, your lower tech sort of plants, of which there are plenty. And then just you can see the enthusiasm, and he does what he likes to do. He's playing around with interesting fish selections. What I also find very interesting is how his shrimp survive. I've never had that luck with shrimp. Mine always got eaten. I think, it was just my fish, and my bettas that I've had also were never really chilled with shrimps. You know, I had tried even some Amano shrimps, but betta made an end to them. So that was also interesting to me. And another big thing with Gijsbert there, that's because there's that applause at the end. He's got a quarantine tank. If I learned that, well, I've learned it long ago, but I've cheated on that, then I wouldn't have had that outbreak of disease that I made a video about, I think, over 6 months ago. So very good to see that he's got a quarantine tank there at the ready, and I'm sure he's going to have plenty more tanks in the future, so we can revisit his fish room as it grows. So guys, I hope that you will send me some videos of your own aquariums or fish rooms. I would greatly appreciate that, and we can get a series going on this, and we can see each other's tanks, because you don't want to look at my tanks all the time. Or we've done a whole gamut of things, store tours or product reviews. It would be nice to start a new series, and let me know in the comment section, what name do you think this series should have of hobbyist tanks? We can't do tanks of our lives. I thought about that, but KG Tropicals already did a series of that. So tanks of our lives are out, but let me know if you have a good name for a series that we can do about hobbyist tanks that send them into this channel. Let's see if it takes off. So that's it from me, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for everybody who subscribed. Please consider subscribing if you haven't yet. And until I see you guys again, take good care of those domestic denizens of the deep.